So a lot of people were up in arms recently because Derek Jackson, the guy who made the phrase "black men don't cheat," was revealed to be up in other women's arms, which is on the heels of Quavo and Sweetie breaking up, which is another couple that a lot of people touted as goals. I don't know when people are gonna stop doing that. Celebrity love died for me when Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston broke up, and that was a long time ago. There are no goals. You have to make your own goals, because I personally believe 95% of the relationships in the world shouldn't be happening. I refuse to give certain friends relationship advice at this point in my life, because I already did calculated the sum total of their relationship's value, and it came to minus 100. So what do I look like sitting here and talking you through what you shouldn't even be in? I'm basically encouraging you to perpetuate your pain. Anyway, the topic of men and cheating has reared its ugly head again. And I think there's so many aspects of why men cheat that I could literally do a whole series on it. Now, I know there are some crybaby men that are gonna say, women cheat too! But it is my opinion that men cheat more. And I'm discussing the why of that. Of course, this is not something you can prove, because no statistics could be gathered that would be credible enough when bearing in mind the amount of people, whether men or women, who cheat and haven't been caught. So it's impossible to know the truth, but from what I've seen, I would hazard a guess and say it's more men. And obviously this Derek guy spoke against cheating vehemently and then still did it. So I want to discuss one of the fundamental reasons I think this happens. And it's been a recent thought of mine. I think one of the main reasons men cheat so much is patriarchy. Where is he going with this one? Shut your mouth. Let me land. Now, I want to preface this by saying that I personally believe there's no relationship in one's life that requires the level of work and self-inflicted, willing commitment that the intimate relationship requires. None, by far. I love my mom with all my heart, but I don't have to talk to my mom every day, whereas a lot of people would find it weird not to at least message their partner every day. The level of upkeep required to maintain that would, quote unquote, be considered a good relationship is gigantic. And the tougher the task, the more it breeds failure by virtue of the level of difficulty. Because don't get it twisted, even though a lot of men cheat, I also know a lot of women, not all, that feel like the only thing they need to provide to a relationship is attendance, which would also be a failure to commit. Or they do a bunch of things in a relationship that they think make them a good girlfriend that man don't really care about and gives no points at all on our scoreboard. What would I look like getting with a girl just because she's supportive or checks up on me or is kind? Bare girls do that. Who are you though? Who are you? While you're supporting me, am I also bored out of my skull post-nut in our conversations because you have the banter of a digestive biscuit dry, right? Is the range of topics you discuss limited to just work and family? That's also a failure to commit your effort to the relationship if all you talk about is the same stuff over and over again, in my opinion anyway. Back to men and patriarchy. I'm going to define patriarchy because I think it's important to. Let's get to it. Patriarchy is a system of society or government in which men hold the power and women are largely excluded from it. That's just a minimal example, but I think it goes back further than that. I think when the first man met the first woman, he probably saw a being smaller in size and stature than he was, and that primal advantage created hierarchy in his mind that has perpetuated through the ages to the strong and wrong men of today. There's still men that find it impossible to accept any kind of telling off or critique from a woman because he views himself as more powerful than her. Patriarchy is a mindset born in every man that lives in this world, because we walk around in a world that is unfairly skewed in our favor to the detriment of women. And for the most part, we don't care. We are not in the streets campaigning for women's rights. And why would we? We quote unquote benefit from your beneathedness. The parallels to white supremacy is scary and shocking, but I won't go down that rabbit hole today. Now, it is impossible for you to lord over someone from the beginning of time to the point where patriarchy is perpetuated in the shows we watch, the toys we buy for our kids, in everything, and not see yourself the same as the being you lord over. Impossible. And this is where some will call me wild, but a lot of men subconsciously, or maybe not, do not see women as humans, not in the same way we see men as humans. They are cattle, possessions, playthings. We love them how you love a toy or a pet. There's a feeling there, of course, but the behavior towards the object of your desire is dictated by how you view it in the hierarchy of your mind. Parents love their children, but a lot of times they don't feel beholden to them in any kind of way of accountability because of the hierarchy in their mind. Like, their good treatment of the child doesn't come from a place of accountability and more a place of taking care of your property. It's a crude example, yes, but I'm just pointing out relationship dynamics. Patriarchy breeds misogyny, which is a prejudice against women. We call them emotional, which I've recently come to realize is just waffle. Men are so emotional, bro. Like, we just manifest it in ways that we deem to be manly, which is just misogyny within itself. If a next man steps on your shoes and you're willing to fight him over it, you're an emotional wreck with the maturity of a tadpole, but I digress. You explain to me how, in a world of patriarchy, we are surprised men cheat at an alarming rate. Babes, it's not just you that he didn't respect in your relationship. We don't respect women, period, point blank, not as equals. Man, them check your soul, you know it to be true. You may love the women in your life, but do you see them as equal? Most men talk about their girl like she's an accessory, like they're a Rolex. There's sentiment there, definitely, but the treatment is governed by the hierarchy. Men are not trying to impress women. They are trying to impress manhood, not men, manhood, the idea of what being a man is. I don't impress girls to impress girls. I impress girls to impress myself and tell myself, yeah, you're a man because you get bare, gal. And now I'm trapped in this relationship and I can't feed that ego. I can't do the things that makes a man feel like a man. This is all subconscious a lot of the times, but it's happening. A man in a relationship is a tamed lion watching his friends roar all over the place while he meows in his household. As a whole, I believe until more men acknowledge patriarchy, not the word or the dictionary definition, but that innate feeling that makes him value his feelings and wants and desires above women and tries to create a fairer mind, you will continue to see these things because rarely will a being be beholden to someone they deem lesser than themselves.